The stellar seeker floated quietly among countless rocks in space. These rocks formed an asteroid belt far from busy human space routes. Most ships avoided this area, seeing nothing valuable here. Taiho stood at his station, eyes fixed on the glowing screen before him. His fingers tapped quickly across the control panel as unusual readings caught his attention. He adjusted the thin tube connecting to his breathing mask, a necessary tool for his species in this ship's atmosphere. "Captain Jiwoo," he called out, voice steady despite his excitement. "Something strange is showing up on my scans. Asteroid KX-427 has energy patterns that don't make sense." Captain Jiwoo turned her head slowly. The light from the main control panel reflected off her silver-scaled skin, creating tiny rainbow patterns across her face. Her mandibles, the mouth parts that marked her as Xenian, clicked together as she considered this information. "Are you completely sure?" she asked, her four-fingered hand resting on the arm of her command chair. "Our maps show nothing special in this sector. Our people charted this region 20 years ago." Taiho nodded firmly. "I've checked 3 times. These energy patterns are weak but definite. Something is hiding there, something that doesn't want to be found." The bridge fell silent as other crew members turned to watch the exchange. The stellar seeker was supposed to be on a routine mineral survey, not making unusual discoveries. "Show me," Jiwoo ordered. Taiho sent the scan data to the main view screen. Red and blue lines showed energy patterns flowing through what should have been solid rock. After studying the readings for several minutes, Jiwoo made her decision. "Pilot, take us closer to KX-427. Science team, prepare for detailed scans." The ship moved silently through the asteroid field. Navigation lights dimmed to avoid attention. As they approached KK-427, more strange readings appeared. "Captain," called Young-gil, the sensor specialist, "I'm detecting metal inside the rock, large amounts too much to be natural." "Scan deeper," Jiwoo ordered. The crew worked in tense silence for nearly an hour. Finally, Taiho stepped back from his station, eyes wide with disbelief. "Captain," he said, voice barely above a whisper, "we need to see this visually." Jiwoo nodded. "Launch probe 3, keep it on silent running." The tiny probe drifted toward the asteroid, its cameras sending back images to the ship. At first they saw only the rough, cratered surface of an ordinary space rock. Then the probe found an unusual crack. Too straight, too perfect to be natural. "Send the probe inside," Jiwoo ordered. The images that came back next stunned everyone. On the bridge, what looked like a simple asteroid from outside was hollow within. But that wasn't all. The hollow space contained something massive, a ship unlike any they had seen before. "Magnify Section 4, Taiho said, pointing to a dark area on the screen. The image zoomed in, revealing writing etched into metal. Human letters forming words that made Taiho's blood run cold. "U.S. Thermopylae," he read aloud. Jiwoo's compound eyes widened, all 4 of them focusing intently on the screen. Her mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme surprise among her people. "That's impossible," she said, rising from her chair. "The Thermopylae was destroyed 15 years ago in the Centauri conflict. All reports confirmed it. Yet the evidence floated before them on the screen. The legendary human warship, thought to be the most advanced vessel ever built by Earth forces before its reported destruction, lay hidden inside this unremarkable asteroid. "Continue scanning," Jiwoo ordered, her voice now tight with concern. "I want to know if anyone is aboard." Further scans revealed more surprises. The Thermopylae wasn't simply hiding in one asteroid. It was connected to several others through hidden tunnels. The entire structure formed a perfect hiding place, shielded from detection by clever engineering. "No life signs detected," Young-gil reported after running multiple scans. "The ship appears dormant but intact. Power systems are running at minimal levels." "This changes everything," Jiwoo said quietly. "If the humans hid their most powerful warship instead of losing it as they claimed," she didn't finish the thought. She didn't need to. Everyone on the bridge understood the implications. Peace between species had been built on trusts and treaties. Following the Centauri conflict, If humans had secretly preserved their most deadly weapon, what did that mean for those agreements? Send an encrypted message to High Command, Jiwoo ordered. Priority 1. We've found something they need to see immediately. As the message transmitted, Jiwoo stared at the screen showing the hidden Dreadnought. The ship that shouldn't exist waited silently in its asteroid cocoon, its secret still untold. The large Xenian science vessel arrived 3 days after the Stellar Seeker's discovery. It carried 20 specialists chosen for their knowledge of human technology. Engineer Do-hyun led the team, his reputation for solving difficult problems making him the clear choice for this mission. Remember, Do-hyun told his team as they prepared to board the hidden ship, we don't know what security systems remain active. Move slowly and scan everything twice. The team wore special protective suits that could shield them from most known human defensive technologies. Each carried advanced scanning tools and communication devices linked to the main Xenian vessel. Their small shuttle approached the asteroid carefully. Using the map created by the Stellar Seeker's probe, they located a concealed entrance, a perfect rectangle cut into the rock, invisible unless you knew exactly where to look. First barrier detected, announced Heijin, the security specialist. Her scanners revealed an energy field blocking the entrance. It's not like standard human military shields. This is something new. Do-hyun studied the readings. Interesting. It's designed to recognize approach patterns. It's looking for specific movements before it will allow entry. It took nearly 2 hours to decipher the correct approach sequence. When they finally passed through the first barrier, they found themselves in a narrow tunnel leading deeper into the asteroid. 4 more security checkpoints blocked their path to the ship. Each used different principles. One responded to specific sound frequencies, another to light patterns, a third to precise temperature changes, and the last to molecular signatures. These defensive measures are remarkable, Do-hyun noted as they carefully worked through the 5th and final checkpoint. See how they're designed? Non-lethal, but extremely effective. The humans built this ship to deter without immediate casualties. Heijin nodded. Most military systems I've studied would have vaporized us at the first incorrect attempt. These are meant to keep people out, not kill them. When they finally reached the actual hull of the Thermopylae, Science Officer Minji made an incredible discovery. The dark metal surface wasn't solid as it appeared. Under her scanner, it swarmed with tiny machines, nanites smaller than dust. Particles, look at this, she called to the others, adjusting her scanner to project a magnified image for everyone to see. These nanites are using principles we've never seen before. They're drawing ambient energy from space itself to maintain the hull's structure. Do-hyun moved closer, his eyes wide with wonder. Self-repairing technology this advanced shouldn't exist yet. Not even humans should have this. Finding an access point took another hour. The airlock they eventually located responded to their tools after careful calibration. With a soft hiss, the door slid open, revealing the ship's interior. Inside, emergency lighting activated automatically, casting a soft blue glow along empty corridors. The air was breathable but stale. No one had walked these halls for years. Stay together, Do-hyun reminded everyone. We head directly to the command center. For these. Ship's layout proved logical but vast. The Thermopylae was far larger inside than it appeared from outside, with deck after deck of advanced technology. They passed rooms filled with weapon systems beyond current military standards, living quarters designed for extended missions, and research labs with equipment even the specialists couldn't identify. When they finally reached the central command hub, what they found left even the most experienced team members speechless. At the center of the room stood a propulsion system unlike anything in known space. It combined technologies that scientists had declared incompatible: quantum displacement fields, gravitational folding mechanisms, and dark energy manipulation systems, all working together in perfect harmony. This defies everything we understand about physics, Minji said, her voice barely above a whisper as she scanned the system. The humans somehow solved the Carvich paradox. The Carvich paradox had stumped the greatest minds across all species. For generations, the theoretical problem that made faster-than-light travel dangerous and unpredictable. Yet here was clear evidence that humans had not only solved it, but built a working system based on that solution. While the others examined the propulsion system, Do-Yun found the ship's log terminal. After careful work to activate it without triggering security measures, ancient data began flowing across the screen. "I found something," he called to the others. "The ship's history." The team gathered around as the logs revealed the truth. The Thermopylae wasn't an ordinary warship. It was a prototype Dreadnought, the first of its kind. And it hadn't been destroyed as official records claimed. It had been deliberately hidden after peace treaties were signed. But most surprising was the reason. The log showed the ship wasn't hidden as an act of deception or for future military advantage. It was insurance against extinction, a last resort weapon created because humanity had encountered something that terrified them beyond all reason. "They were afraid," Do-Yun said softly. "Something scared the humans so badly they built this ship and hid it away just in case." The question hanging in the air was obvious, though no one spoke it aloud. What could frighten humanity so deeply that they would create such a powerful weapon in secret? The Xenian research team worked methodically through the ship's systems. Do-Hyun had ordered them to document everything but touch nothing without permission. This rule had served them well for the first 6 hours of exploration. Junior technician, Junyo stood apart from the others in a small alcove off the main command center. Fresh from the academy, this was his first major assignment. His eagerness to prove himself had led him to this separate console, one with markings different from the others. "This writing is older," he muttered to himself. Pre-Centauri conflict, language patterns. The console's surface was smooth black glass with faint blue symbols. Junyo's scanner showed power flowing through it, unlike many of the dormant systems they'd encountered. "I might be able to access more historical data from here," he thought, reaching toward what appeared to be an activation panel. From across the command center, Do-Hyun looked up just in time to see Junho's hand moving toward the console. "Don't touch that console," Do-Hyun shouted, but too late. Junyo had already pressed his 3-fingered hand against the glowing blue surface. The reaction was immediate. The ship's lighting system surged from dim blue to bright white. A mechanical hum built throughout the vessel, growing from barely noticeable to a steady vibration beneath their feet. Across the command center, screens and panels lit up one by one. "What did you do?" Heijin demanded, rushing toward Junho. Before he could answer, a calm female voice spoke from all around them. "Emergency protocols engaged. Potential hostilities detected. Initiating defensive posture Alpha." Metal shields slid smoothly over the exits, the air filled with a faint mist, not harmful but creating a slight disorientation among the team members. "We need to shut it down," Do-Hyun ordered, moving toward the main system terminal. Before he could reach it, a bright light formed in the center of the command room. The light shaped itself into a human figure, a woman wearing what appeared to be a captain's uniform. Though made of light, the figure looked almost solid, with clear details visible in her face and clothing. "I am Captain Hyunjin of the UESS Thermopylae," the hologram stated, looking around at the startled Xenian team. "This vessel has been awakened under contingency protocols. State your intentions." The team froze, unsure how to respond to this unexpected development. Finally, Minji stepped forward. As the science officer with the most experience in human interactions, she knew a direct, honest approach was best. "We are a scientific research team," she said clearly. "We discovered this vessel during a routine survey mission. We mean no harm. We entered to learn, not to damage or steal." The holographic captain's eyes, remarkably detailed for a light projection, studied Minji and then each team member in turn. "Running biological scans," the hologram announced. "Species identified. Xenon alliance status neutral. Conflict history. Minor border disputes. No formal warfare." After a moment of silence, the hologram nodded. "Scanning confirms non-hostile intent. Reverting to Security Protocol Delta." The mist cleared from the air, the metal shields covering. The exits retracted halfway, enough to allow passage but still ready to close quickly if needed. "I apologize for the defensive measures," the hologram continued. This vessel contains sensitive technologies that must be protected. Do-hyun approached cautiously. You are an artificial intelligence? I am a neural imprint of Captain Hyunjin Kim, last commanding officer of the UESS Thermopylae, the hologram explained. My consciousness was copied to serve as this vessel's guardian during dormancy. The real Captain Hyunjin is dead? Minji asked. The hologram's expression shifted subtly to something resembling sadness. Captain Hyunjin was reported killed in action 15 years ago during the Centauri conflict. This is correct according to official records. The truth is more complex. Over the next hours, the research team sat in the ship's briefing room as Captain Hyunjin's hologram revealed the Thermopylae's true purpose. The hologram showed them records, images, and data that rewrote their understanding of recent galactic history. The ship you are aboard contains technological innovations that appear to be centuries ahead of what humans have shared with the galactic community, Hyunjin explained. This has led you to suspect deception or hostile intent. The truth is different. The hologram activated a viewing screen showing a distant region of space, dark and empty except for strange distortions that seem to bend the light of distant stars. 23 years ago, a human deep space research vessel encountered something in the void between galaxies, Hyunjin continued. We still don't have a proper name for them. Most human records simply call them the void. The screen showed blurry images of something massive moving through space, a darkness deeper than the space around it, with no definable shape. They came without warning, the hologram explained. The research vessel was destroyed in seconds. Only one emergency pod escaped with partial data. When we sent a military response, we lost 3 ships before we even understood what we were facing. Minji leaned forward. What were they? We don't know, Hyunjin admitted. Not life as we understand it, not machines either. Something else, something that consumed energy, all energy, including the energy that holds matter together. The screen showed a human colony world, once green and thriving, reduced to a dead gray husk. We barely survived our first encounter, Hyunjin continued. We found only one effective defense, the technology you see on this ship. It was developed in secret because we feared panic if the truth became public. This ship was our contingency plan, hidden rather than destroyed as reported. Why hide this from your allies? Do-hyun asked. The hologram's expression grew solemn. Because the void retreated. They left our space suddenly and completely. Some human leaders believed the threat was gone forever. Others, like those who built this ship, believed they would return. We chose to prepare quietly rather than frighten the galaxy with a threat that might never return. And now? Junyo asked, speaking for the first time since activating the ship. Captain Hyunjin turned to him. Now you have awakened the Thermopylae, and we must determine if your discovery is simply chance, or if it comes because the void has returned. News of the Thermopylae's discovery spread quickly despite attempts to keep it secret. Within 3 days, representatives from 12 species had filed formal requests for information. Within a week, the situation had escalated to an interstellar crisis. The Great Meeting Hall on Diplomatic Station Harmony orbited the neutral world of Centauri Prime. Today, its circular chamber was filled to capacity. Representatives from 27 spacefaring nations sat at the curved tables, their faces showing various degrees of concern and anger. General Jinwoo of the Xinian Defense Force stood at the speaker's podium, his gray uniform decorated with service medals. His forearms were positioned in the formal stance of serious accusation. The Thermopylae's weapon systems could destroy entire star systems, he argued, his voice carrying clearly through the hall. We have confirmed this through our initial scans. Such power cannot remain solely in human hands. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the gathered representatives. The Dortian ambassador raised all 3 of her eye stalks in the gesture of strong support. The Moravian delegate thumped his ceremonial staff on the floor twice, the traditional signal of alignment with the speaker's position. Ambassador Subin from Earth waited for the noise to subside before rising to respond. Her simple blue diplomatic uniform contrasted sharply with the elaborate costumes of many other species. A vessel discovered in our territory, bearing our markings, belongs under our jurisdiction by galactic law, she stated calmly. This is not open to debate. The Thermopylae is human property, regardless of its current location or condition. Property that you claimed was destroyed, shouted the Quarian representative, his translucent skin flushing deep purple with anger. Your government filed official reports declaring this vessel lost in battle 15 years ago. Now we discover it exists, hidden, with technology far beyond what you have shared with your supposed allies. Ambassador Subin maintained her composure. The circumstances surrounding the Thermopylae's status are complex. We request time to conduct our own investigation before further discussion. Time to hide more evidence, you mean? Growled the Valkydian ambassador, his razor teeth flashing in the chamber's light. The moderator, a neutral AI entity projected as a sphere of gentle blue light, chimed softly. Please maintain respectful discourse as per Section 3 of the meeting protocols. Outside the chamber in the station's secure communications center, Minji watched the proceedings on a large screen. She had arrived on the station that morning, traveling directly from the Thermopylae under heavy security escort. Now she waited, surrounded by both human and Xenian guards, for her turn to speak. They're not addressing the real issue, she said, quietly to Do Yun, who stood beside her. Politics rarely does, he replied. They're fighting over the ship while ignoring what the ship was built to fight against. The situation grew more tense when the Quarian hierarchy's high commander took the podium. His voice transmission, Quarians communicated through electrical pulses rather than sound, was translated through the chamber's system. The Quarian hierarchy formally demands that the vessel Thermopylae be surrendered to neutral control within 14 standard days, the emotionless translation announced. Failure to comply will be considered an act of military aggression. Several other species quickly aligned with this position. The mercantile worlds of Trazos offered to purchase the vessel outright for scientific study. The Dorsan Imperium suggested that a multi-species crew should take control immediately. Behind closed doors, human military leaders met urgently with their political counterparts. The Xenian High Command issued mobilization orders to their border fleets as a precautionary measure. 6 other nations moved ships to positions near human space. As tensions reached a breaking point, the moderator announced a special closed session. Only 9 representatives were permitted to attend, along with 1 expert witness, Science Officer Minji. Inside the small, secure meeting room, Minji stood before the most powerful leaders in known space. She had spent the past week studying the Thermopylae's archives while Captain Hyunjin's hologram explained the ship's systems. Science Officer, began the mercantile world's representative, your team has had the most direct contact with this vessel. What is your assessment of its purpose? Minji took a deep breath. The Thermopylae was not built for conquest but as a last line of defense. Its weapons are powerful, yes, but they were designed with a specific enemy in mind. She activated a small projector she had brought from the ship. Images of the strange darkness the entity humans called the Void appeared above the table. 23 years ago, humans encountered a threat unlike anything we've seen before, she explained. These entities, or perhaps it's a single entity, the records aren't clear, destroyed an entire human colony world. The human military could barely slow it down. The representatives leaned forward, studying the blurry images with growing concern. The Thermopylae was built using principles discovered during that conflict, Minji continued. It represents the only effective defense humans developed against this threat. They weren't hoarding technology or preparing for war against other species. They were preparing for something they knew would return. If this threat was real, why keep it secret from allies? Asked the Xenian representative. The entity retreated without explanation, Minji replied. Human leaders were divided. Some believed the threat was gone forever and wanted to move forward with normal relations. Others feared creating panic over something that might never return. They chose to prepare quietly. And now? Asked the human representative, her face grave. Minji hesitated before answering. The ship's long-range sensors are active again. They're detecting energy patterns at the edge of charted space, patterns that match the records from 23 years ago. Silence fell over the room as the implications became clear. The diplomatic crisis suddenly seemed small compared to what might be approaching. "We should continue this discussion," the moderator suggested softly. "With this new information in mind." The debate about who should control the Thermopylae continued for weeks. Every day brought new demands, threats, and counter-proposals. Human leaders insisted the ship must remain under their command. Other species argued such power could not belong to one race alone. While diplomats argued scientists worked, teams from 7 species were permitted limited access to study the ship's outer systems. They confirmed what the Xenian team had discovered. The technology was unlike anything known in current space science. Then, 23 days after the discovery, everything changed. Taiho stood in the Thermopylae's sensor room, working alongside human technicians to understand the ship's detection systems. The hologram of Captain Hyunjin appeared beside him without warning. "Alert status activated," the hologram announced. "Long-range sensors have detected gravitational anomalies at the edge of charted space." Taiho studied the readings on the main screen. "What are we seeing?" "Pattern match confirmed," replied the hologram. "These energy signatures are identical to those recorded before first contact with the void entities." Taiho felt a cold feeling spread through his body. The reports from the ship's archives had seemed like scary stories, the kind told to children. Now those stories were becoming real. "How certain are we?" he asked. 97% certainty," the hologram replied. "The void has returned." Within hours, Taiho stood before the Emergency Council of Ambassadors. His normal science uniform had been replaced by formal diplomatic dress in recognition of the gravity of his message. "The humans were right," Taiho announced to the silent room. "Something is coming. The Thermopylae's sensors have detected energy patterns that match exactly what humans encountered 23 years ago." He showed them the sensor data, explaining the findings in clear, simple terms. When he finished, the room remained silent for several long moments. Finally, the human ambassador spoke. "We built the Thermopylae for this moment. We hoped it would never come." The Xenian general Jin Wu, who had argued so strongly against human control of the ship, now stood. "I propose an immediate joint response. This threat concerns all spacefaring species." What followed was the fastest diplomatic agreement in known history. Within 3 days, an unprecedented alliance formed. The Xenian leadership formally acknowledged that humans had legitimate reasons for creating and hiding the Dreadnought. 26 species signed the Emergency Cooperation Treaty. A joint task force was established to study and replicate the Thermopylae's key technologies. The most brilliant minds from across known space worked together, sharing knowledge that had been secret for generations. Minji received a new title, Interspecies Liaison Officer. Having earned rare human military trust through her careful work, with the ship's systems she became the bridge between human knowledge and alien expertise. "We have less than 6 months before the void reaches populated space," she explained to the combined scientific teams. "We must understand how this ship works if we hope to build more like it." The work continued day and night. Shipyards across 3 sectors built new vessels based on the Thermopylae's designs. Defense platforms were modified with the ship's technology. Old enemies set aside centuries of conflict to work together against the greater threat. 6 months later, the UESS Thermopylae, now officially recommissioned, led a combined fleet toward the approaching anomaly. The once hidden Dreadnought had been fully restored and enhanced with contributions from 12 different species. On the bridge stood a mixed crew, humans and aliens working side by side, united by common purpose. Captain Yunji, a decorated human officer newly appointed to command the Dreadnought, stood at the center of the bridge. Her dark uniform bore patches from all the major Alliance species. Beside her, Xenian Commander Taiho, promoted for his role in the Discovery, studied the sensor readings with careful attention. The main view screen showed the darkness ahead, a distortion in space where stars seemed to vanish. "All ships report ready," announced the communications officer. The combined fleet awaits your command. Yunji nodded, looking at the tactical display showing 500 ships arranged in precise formation behind the Thermopylae. Taiho looked up from his station. To think we once feared this ship, he remarked quietly to Yunji. Now it may be our salvation. Yunji nodded. Humanity built the Thermopylae hoping it would never be needed. Today we're grateful for that foresight. She turned to the navigation officer. Take us forward, 1/4 speed. Signal the fleet to maintain formation. The great ship moved forward, its advanced engines barely making a sound. Behind it, the combined fleet, the greatest military force ever assembled, followed in perfect order. As they approached the edge of known space, the darkness ahead seemed to notice them. The distortion grew, spreading across the view screen like spilled ink. Energy signatures increasing, reported Taiho. The void is reacting to our presence. Weapon systems online, ordered Yunji. Shield generators at maximum. The Thermopylae's special systems hummed to life. Technology created specifically to fight this unknown enemy. Around the bridge, crew members from 7 different species worked with quiet efficiency, each bringing their unique skills to the coming battle. Yunji stepped forward, eyes fixed on the approaching darkness. Send to all ships. Prepare for contact. Remember your training. We face this together. The once hidden human Dreadnought, now the flagship of an united galaxy, moved steadily toward the greatest threat known space had ever faced. Its existence, once a secret that nearly caused war, had become the cornerstone of an alliance that might save them all. As the darkness grew larger on the view screen, Yunji felt a strange calm. Whatever happened next, they would face it together, not as separate species but as a united front. The Thermopylae, built in secrecy and fear, now served its true purpose as a beacon of hope. Contact in 30 seconds, announced Taiho. Yunji nodded. Begin the defense sequence. The great ship systems activated, ready for the battle ahead. The end.